An analysis of Chinese traditions using royal chronologies places Emperor Shun in 2240 BC, 1 year off from 2239, witnessing a large meteorite falling from the sky to strike the earth, followed by the Great Flood. Bruce Massey, an environmental archaeologist with the US Air Force, revealed that the ancient world was plagued by a series of cosmic impacts, with one being approximately 2240 BC. Ocean sediments taken from the Gulf of Oman revealed a sudden deterioration of a long stable climate approximately 2200 BC. French scientists in the Middle East discovered layers of calcite under the ground, indicating a cosmic impact dating around 2200 BC. Earthquakes and strange electrical storms rage as the heavens seem to spin end over end, as Earth rolls without actual stability. Noxious gases and chemicals poison the world, killing many, and the basement rock, foundations of Earth, are broken, and the entire surface of the crust is rippled with new mountains and valleys, and cities of the world are buried in violent subsidence. Pillars of lava are thrust high into the air as boiling water spews up from below the ground, towering geysers that burn thousands and thousands of square miles. Volcanic resurfacing occurs and the rains continue through it all. The marine atmosphere, a thick water vapour canopy that made the biospheric conditions on pre-flood Earth so unique, collapses. The source of the rainwater that caused the flood was never terrestrial. In fact, the planet enjoyed a surface sea or seas and a literal ocean above, called in Genesis the firmament. The firmament magnified the heavens like a lens, allowing the ancients a better view of the heavens, to see the planets closer up. In fact, the planet Venus, Jupiter and Saturn still have these vapour canopies. Had not a large celestial body penetrated the upper mesosphere at the exact same time that Phoenix exerted a powerful gravitational pull on Earth's outer atmospheric levels at the instant of direct transit between Earth and the Sun, the marine mesosphere would still be in place, and the stars and planets of the night sky would be much larger. The Great Flood was the first time mankind had ever experienced rain. Rain was never necessary in the antediluvian biosphere because the mesosphere and subterranean water table, according to Genesis 2, caused a mist to water the face of the earth every morning and evening. The mesosphere took 40 days to fall completely to the earth. With internal core pressure intensified by the proximity of Phoenix, which is several times the mass of Earth, the subterranean water reservoirs boiled upward over the land at the same time the mesosphere drained the atmosphere of its watery firmament. The waters of the flood are still with us today, having accumulated at the poles covering Antarctica in a 2-mile-high ice cap and the North Pole, some mixing in with Earth's oceans and precipitation cycle. Every time that it rains on Earth, some of these water molecules were existent when they had fallen out of the sky in 2239 BC. The greatest impact was that of the CHRONICON crater that carved out the bowl of the Gulf of Mexico, an impact zone on the opposite side of the world from where pre-flood civilization was centered, in the land we call Egypt today. CHRONICON is the devil's tail in the Yucatan of Central America. The Anunnaki, having taken on physical bodies that they cannot escape out of now, are imprisoned by the Godhead, those having descended to sexually unite with the daughters of men. Their progeny, the Nephilim, hybrids and giants, are obliterated from off the face of the earth. The scribe of Jeremiah the prophet, named Baruch, wrote in what is now called Baruch, "These were the giants, famous from the beginning, that were of so great stature and so expert in war. Those did not the Lord choose, neither gave he the way of knowledge unto them. But they were drowned because they had no wisdom, and perished through their own foolishness." A global ocean is created and the ark is lifted in the waters, megalithic anchor stones keeping it from listing. The former surface layers of the planet are scrambled, and much is reconstituted according to weight and density, with billions of dead people, Nephilim hybrids, giants, animals from land and sea, deposited in the deepening water and buried as immense pressure from radioactive materials boil the oceans and entomb dead bodies in many layers. The saturated carcass-strewn sediments are cooked under these conditions, which burn the effects of the flood into the fictitious geologic column. The old world has been turned into a planetary fossil of a former global ecosystem that had not known Arctic poles nor seasonal changes, but was a virtual year-round greenhouse. A Babylonian record reads, "All mankind was turned to mud. The whole world was destroyed exactly 2070 years, 414 times 5, after, and was totally destroyed and frozen in 4309 BC. The two planetary cataclysms and their sedimentation effects has given rise to the fiction of the Jurassic fantasy of millions of years ago. The prehistoric age of the dinosaurs was not 65 million years ago, and the scientific testing of radioactive materials and their decay rates does not take into account the contamination of radioactivity that occurred in 4309, 2239 BC, and other disasters of interplanetary origin. Prior to the Great Flood, the planet was more spherical than it is today. The crust of the planet was not fractured into plates as it is today. The Earth was literally broken at the flood, and the equatorial bulge was formed from the immense stress and pressure. The 7920-mile diameter of the planet became 7925 miles, and the planet no longer spun around a perfect 90-degree axis, as do the other planets closer to the Sun. Earth's axis was tilted at 23 degrees inclined toward the ecliptic. Intriguingly, this 23-degree tilt reflects the history of the Earth's precessional motion. Because the retrogression of the precession of the equinox is 1 degree every 72 years, in the year 2239 BC, 1656 AM, the Earth has gone backward a total of 23 degrees, 1656 years, since man's banishment from paradise in 3895 BC. The tilt of the Earth now supports the maintenance of the polar caps, and is the reason the world experiences seasonal changes, a fact unknown to the pre-flood greenhouse. The Genesis record of the Great Flood provides us another source of proof that the years in the antediluvian world were reckoned at 360 days. We are told therein that the flood lasted 5 months, and that these 5 months were 150 days. This reveals a 30-day month, 12 of which would be a year, 360 days. More amazing archaeological and scientific proof of the deluge will be found throughout this research. 1. Catastrophobia. 2. City of God. 3. Pindar. 4. Metamorphosis. 5. Lucian. De Dea Syra. 6. Apollodorus. Lib. 1. 7. The Great Pyramid, its divine message. 8. Jasher. 9. Enoch. 10. History in quotations. 11. History of the Christian religion. 12. Jasher. 13. Chronology of Genesis 1. 14. The Natural Genesis Volume 2. 15. Survivors of Atlantis. 18. Atlantis and the Kingdom of the Neanderthals. 19. The Incredible Discovery of Noah's Ark. 20. Baruch. 21. The Antediluvian World. 22. Genesis. After the Flood, beginning of the Old Bronze Age. 2238 BC, 1657 AM. The Great Flood over, water covering the entire world for almost a year, the planet baptized. The Ark comes to rest at the summit of Mount Ararat in modern Turkey, at over 12,000 feet elevation today. Through the course of human history, men will visit the secluded site and see the Herculean structure many times. The structure is encased in a solid glacial cap, has been studied, photographed, and even been the subject of US intelligence reports. These details will be found throughout this research. The waters of the deluge were dried up in the 601st year, the first month, the first day of the month, the very moment another great year of 600 years began. Enoch had been told by God long before that there would be survivors of the flood, that all the sons of men shall not perish in consequence of every secret by which the watchers have destroyed, and which they have taught their offspring. Every human survivor was a descendant of Enoch. Noah was the great-grandson of Enoch through Methuselah and Lamech. Naamah, Noah's wife, was the daughter of Enoch. The 3 sons of Noah were married to the 3 daughters of Eliakim, son of Methuselah, son of Enoch.